What's it been like watching this season back so far? It's been, a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah, definitely. It's been kind of a rough year for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a rough year. It is hard to kind of watch it back too, because it's been such a tough year, and it's so real to us. Oh, well, it is so real to us because it's our lives, and so when we watch it back, it's like reliving that pain all over again.
Yeah,
The struggle
definitely.
and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we are seeing you all like kind of in the throes of the beginning of quarantine. I mean, how difficult was that for you? Because we see, I think in the upcoming episode that, you know, almost like you sometimes felt a little guilty that Kody was spending so much time with you.
Oh, it's not that I kind of felt guilty. I was definitely feeling like bad. I was
Yeah.
feeling like this is not right. This is not fair. I mean, I chose this lifestyle for a reason. And when things are out of whack, it bothers me. And when things are not right, it bothers me. I'm a Libra. We're all about balance and fairness. And so when things aren't fair, it really stresses me out. I've lost a lot of sleep because of it. And I don't understand the choices that are being made as far as our family's concerned, but I have to respect them. So I can't say guilty because I'm not the one making the choices, but at the same time, it's like I do definitely feel bad, and it's made our, the whole family experience really hard.
Yeah,
So
definitely. I mean, did you feel like sometimes maybe the other wives were jealous of you a little bit during that time because of how much time you were spending together?
I've never had them express that to me.
Right.
I can't really speak for them, but I'm sure that it was hard. But then at the same time, I know that they were making choices that they felt comfortable with, as far as like, traveling and having people in the home that were making it so that Kody is not able to go see them. And I'm here. I have I have little kids. And so I kind of just had to run my will with Kody's with whatever he decided, and just do what he was doing, because that's the only way my little kids would be able to see him. So, I've had a lot of experiences through COVID where I wish I could travel. My dad's been in the ICU a few times, and, close to death, and I didn't feel like I could leave. He's okay now, but I didn't feel like I could leave because I have my little kids to consider.
Right.
So yeah. And, we're doing what we're doing also to protect jobs and our jobs as well. TLC has been very, very careful about making sure we're all being very, very careful as far as our crew is concerned, and we're concerned. They're making sure we're following protocols so that they can keep everybody safe.
Definitely. I'm glad to hear that your dad is doing better.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I think Kody says in either this upcoming episode or the last episode that communication was a problem in the family. I mean, do you feel like communication is a problem in your family as well?
I think that communication has been an issue for a really long time. I think that there's some issues that can come from just living plural marriage, where you have to kind of get past yourself, and you have to trust each other, and you have to be trustworthy. And so I think communication barriers can kind of come into play as far as the whole plural marriage thing. So yeah, I've always felt like we struggled to communicate effectively. And so when Janelle started talking about, hey, let's figure some of this stuff out, I was like, yes. Out.
Yeah.
I would like to have us communicate more effectively. I think it would really, really benefit our relationships.
Has it gotten better? And do you feel like now that, COVID restrictions have lifted a little bit, that you aren't living these separate lives that maybe you were so much in the beginning?
Honestly, it's really been Kody leading the charge on how careful we're being. And it's kind of like sort of what he decides. I do have a voice with it, and I do have my emotions and feelings about all of it, but at the same time, like, I respect his position, and I know that it's really important to protect lives up until the very end.
Yes, no, totally.
Yeah, up until, it would just be really silly to, be so careful for so long, and then just like the last minute, just kind of be dumb and then, cause people problems. So, I don't know. It's really kind of up to what Kody
right.
ends up thinking. So
Is that frustrating at times? Because I'm sure like sometimes that things that he does, you probably don't agree with. And I'm sure, you know, you voice your opinions and things like that. But I would imagine that's frustrating at times because you have to consider, you know, 5 different opinions or 4 different opinions. You know, it's got to be difficult.
Yes. And I know that, I know that, that's my choice, by the way. It's my choice to kind of, it's my choice to respect him as kind of the head of my family.
Sure.
And he wears his leadership, you know, as the head of the family very lightly. And he, throughout this whole experience, has given everybody their, like, he's like, okay, you guys do whatever you need to do. He's not a dictator in any way, shape, or form. It's not like that. It's not dysfunctional. It's actually a personal choice of mine, just because, you know, that's what I like. That's what I prefer. And I have a strong voice, but I also, he respects me, I respect him, and it works out. So, it's yes, there's definitely times where I'm frustrated and I'm like, hey, I don't see the point of this, and we kind of butt heads, but ultimately I respect him. And it's not because he's a man and I'm a woman. It's, I respect him because of who he is, because he's come around and he is a good guy, and he, you know, he's looking out for people's best interest a lot of the time.
Yeah. You know, in a teaser for an upcoming episode, he said that plural marriage is a challenge that he doesn't sometimes enjoy. I mean, do you feel that as well sometimes?
Oh yeah, plural marriage definitely has its challenges, but this is what we chose. And it wasn't because I didn't have any other choice. It wasn't because, you know, I was forced into this in any way, shape, or form. You know, when I was a young adult, I made this choice. You know, I had, you know, people that wanted to date me and that wanted to, I had proposals and things like that was outside of my church. And I just said, well, this is the way that I want to live. This is what I choose. And yes, while it has its challenges, it also has its benefits, and I like those benefits. And so, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what are some of those benefits that you like the most?
I really like that there is a team working together for the same purpose. Yeah. I mean, even though we may have different ideas of how to go about that, we all have the same goal, and that's to take care of our kids, to love on our kids, to make sure they come, you know, when they leave the home, that they're upstanding adults and citizens, that they're good to people, that we are, you know, respecting each other's rights, that we're, and opinions and things like that, that we're just like financially, we're working together as a team, that, and when it comes to something like a move, we have a team we're all working together. So you have a team all the time, that, you know, you're working together. That's one of the benefits. Another benefit is having these other ladies in my life love my kids, and be there for my kids and be there for me. I mean, I kind of have a built-in, you know, female, you know, group, that I guess you'd say, of people to sit there and, like, when I, you know, I'm frustrated with Kody, I can call up a sister wife and go, I'm so frustrated, this that he's doing. And she's like, oh yeah, I get it, I totally understand. But we both know that we love him at the end of the day. And even though he's frustrating us, you know, we both have his, you know, we both see what he's about, and we know that he has our best interest at heart. So, you know, those are some of the benefits. Definitely.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's nice to have somebody to talk to and knows exactly what you're going through, because you're going through the same thing. So you're like, Kody's being such a jerk today. And they're like, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's actually really fun, because we'll be in a conversation and, you know, it's really easy to gang up on him and go, well, we think this. So
definitely. You know, it's been difficult to watch Kody and Meri's relationship this season. And I'm sure, as somebody that knows them both so well, I'm sure it's been difficult for you as well. I mean, in an upcoming episode, you know, they say that they're not a couple, but they are a family. I mean, what is your reaction to that?
That was heartbreaking to watch. Their relationship is their relationship, and I do not want to disrespect Meri by commenting on it. But I will say that I pray every day that they can figure this out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, did you notice a change in Meri and Kody's relationship after the catfish scandal. And how did that kind of change everybody's relationship, if it did?
Yeah, I saw a significant change, and it was very, very difficult to watch. I think, I don't know if it really affected anybody else's relationship with Kody. Kody was really struggling at that time, and he really had a hard time with it. And so it was that, I guess, probably did take a toll, I guess, on other relationships he was having, because anytime a relationship, one of the, 4 marriages is, struggling, it does affect the other relationships like that. But I mean, what was hard for me was Meri was no longer like reachable for me. And I struggled a lot with that because Meri and I were always very close. And it's taken a couple of years for her to feel safe enough to be able to be close with me again, just because she went into a really dark place because of what happened. And she was kind of, she blocked a lot of people out of her life, pretty much everybody, just because she went through so much. So that was a really, really difficult time for me because I lost my buddy, So, and like I said, we've been building on that. We've been building our relationship back up and finding our friendship again. And, she's able to be open again with me, which I appreciate.
Yeah. Do you feel like she's almost at that place where she was, prior to all this? Because, it did happen, 5 or 6 years ago. So it has taken a long time for, even Kody says it's taken a long time for just the anger to subside over this whole situation.
Well, that's Kody's situation, right. Kody's emotions. It was, all I know is that when Meri finally told me what was happening, because for a long time I did not understand what was happening. When she finally told me, I was relieved, because I thought, if that's all it is, we can get through this. We can figure this out. Like, that's just talk to me, because that's where I was so frustrated. Like, I need you to talk to me, and she wasn't. And so, it was kind of a big deal, and it did create some issues. And Meri has done a lot of work to figure that out and to, find her peace again, kind of a thing. And I'm proud of her for that. And she's, they're just, as far as Kody and Meri, that's, like I said, just out of respect for her, that's their deal. And I just do whatever I can to be supportive of healing that experience, healing relationship. So
do you understand his hesitancy of, fully committing to this relationship again, though? And, because it's in the upcoming episode, she is fighting. She wants to stay in this marriage. She really does. But it seems like Kody still has his walls up. Do you understand that?
I believe that miracles can happen in relationships. Mm-hmm. And I think that you can fix anything that's broken in a relationship if you try hard enough. Yeah. And you do definitely have to have 2 willing parties. And, I can't, it's just so hard to make a judgment call on that. I just, on either one of their positions or what they're doing or anything, I just hope and pray they can figure it out one way or another and heal their relationship.
Yeah. He did tweet after the episode that things have a way of working themselves out. So, are you definitely hopeful for their future together?
Oh yeah. That's in my brain. When I think of the future, I think I see their relationship as healed. Yeah. So that's what I'm constantly, I talk to her about, and I push her and like, hey, just stick it out, figure it out. And with him, it's like, hey, make the effort, mm-hmm. kind of a thing. But, I can only, encourage, support as much as they'll let me. So, it's their relationship that they need to manage. And I just love them both, and I just want them to get it figured out.
Yeah, definitely. Do you feel like they'd almost be like a weight lifted off of the entire family's shoulders once everything is resolved? You're like, oh, we can go back and just have fun again.
I mean, yes, there would be definitely some of that. I mean, it would be, it make me feel like happy, and it would make me feel like, okay, we can go forward. There's so many times when there's tension there and sadness there that I just, I hate to see. And I think it would be really great.
Yeah, definitely. In the upcoming episode, Kody is speaking about a wife that he thought was happy all these years, but wasn't. He didn't say exactly who it was, but does that ever, when he's speaking about other relationships with another wife, does that ever make you angry? Or do you understand that he sometimes has to voice his frustrations?
I think the more we can have privacy in each relationship, the better. I know it's difficult for the show because he's not, with anyone else, so he should be speaking. So it's kind of our job to kind of speak about these things, and it does actually sort of mess with that privacy, I guess you say. But this is kind of what we've, decided to do and has signed up for, kind of thing. I don't actually like it when he talks about other relationships to other wives. I think that there should be lines of privacy. I understand that it's probably difficult for him because we're all close to him and we're all friends, and kind of a thing. And so it's like, are you married?
Yes.
Okay, so you probably tell your spouse your feelings. You probably vent and tell your spouse when something's frustrating to you. It's like that. But, and so, I mean, I can see where it would be easy for him to do, but I actually don't like it when he does it.
Yeah. Do you ever wish that you were in a monogamous relationship? Did that ever cross your mind, or is this something that you've always wanted? Or you did, or you, not something you always wanted, but now that like you're in it, you never thought about going back to a monogamous relationship?
No, I did always want this. Okay. I always want I always did want a plural relationship. I grew up in the faith. Like I said, I chose this when I was a young adult. Even though I was raised in it, I chose it. I had dated. I dated a lot, and I had other people interested in me and dating me, and I actually had marriage proposals, and I basically just said to them, I want to live plural marriage. So unless you're gonna, explore that and explore my religion and stuff like that, then I'm not really interested in that. So it is something that I've always chosen. I have, every single day. When I was married before, I was still in the religion. Yep. And we had talked about, other wives and stuff like that at that point. So no, it's not something that I've ever wanted. It's not something I would ever choose. And as far as I'm concerned, this is what I want for the rest of my life. And so, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I know we spoke a little bit earlier about jealousy in COVID situations, but how do you deal with jealousy on a day-to-day basis with the other wives? Or have you just, this has become so custom and you're so used to it that you don't get jealous at all?
Oh no, I definitely have my days of jealousy.
Yeah.
I know that my sister wives have their days of jealousy, but the point is to kind of work through that and to I mean, my biggest thing is I think the solution to jealousy is just having good relationships with your sister wives. Yeah. And being trustworthy and trusting them, kind of a thing. So if you're able to, it's like, say, for you, like, do you have a best girlfriend and that she's got your best interest at heart, kind of a thing. And and then I know it's kind of a big step. It's like, you really want you have to want your sister wives to have a good relationship with Kody. You want to encourage that relationship because that creates trust. And I think if you have a good relationship with your sister wife, then when he's doing something for one of them, you see him kiss or hug or go on a date or something like that. If you love her and you trust her, then it makes that jealousy just kind of so much easier to just kind of go, okay, I really want her to have a nice time.
Yeah.
I really want her to have fun. I really want her to have love in her life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good way to
So
look at it.
that's a lot, I feel like.
Mm-hmm, definitely. You know, in a teaser that you say that you are sometimes baby hungry. So do you want to have more kids?
I have just yes days, 100% yes days, and then I have 100% no days. So you know, when I was growing up, I always heard ladies talk about this feeling of being done. Like, I feel done. I'm waiting for that feeling, and it hasn't come yet. So I'm very confused by it. I think, you know, Kody's, you know, I have to consider where he's at as well. But, you know, I do have days where I wonder, you know, and I think, oh, I could do that again. And I get baby hungry and stuff. And I am older, so I have to be smart and about it, not just go do whatever, but and make sure that, you know, we have everything we need in order to, you know, because we have a lot of kids. And so you have to consider that and be smart about it. But anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. Is today a yes day or a no day?
Oh, well, Ariella, my sweet little 5-year-old, kept me up a lot last night, so it would probably be a no day today, but maybe the days when I'm getting sleep, I'm like, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah. I mean, is Kody on board with it? Because I think you said you were kind of leaving the decision up to him.
It's a joint decision. It's like we make the decision together. And so, you know, he needs to weigh in as much as I weigh in. And because I'm sort of split, it was kind of like, hey, you really need to tell me what you think. And I don't know. We'll have to watch the show and see.
We'll have to wait and see. You know, what would you say is probably the biggest misconception about polygamy?
I think probably the biggest misconception about polygamy is that we're miserable and that we're broken. I actually feel like it's the opposite. I have a mother. My mother lives pro-marriage, and she is very tough, and she's very strong, and she is not someone who, you know, needs my dad to make her feel like she is worthwhile. And I look up to that because I feel like that should be coming from your experience with your higher being, God, you know, your high conscience, whatever it is, and finding your own strength of who you are and knowing like I am enough kind of a thing. And I can make these decisions on my own. I can be strong. I can do this all on my own kind of a thing. And so I think a lot of people think, well, you've got to be broken or you've got to be insecure or there must be something wrong with you if you want to live this way. And that's just not the case.
Yeah.
That's just, I mean, I'm sure it is for some people, but that's the way it is in even regular monogamous marriages. Some people are getting married because they need someone else to tell them they're okay, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually the other way around. The women in our church and in our religion, I think, are pretty tough women. We're tough. We're strong.
Is there really a queen wife? Is there really a queen wife and a basement wife?
Oh, I hate those terms so bad. You know, I think in some families there are. There definitely is in some families because, and this really goes down to how the husband manages the situation. So if he thinks this is okay, then yes, there's definitely some of families that actually do have kind of, you know, a queen wife or a basement wife or whatever it is. In our family, that was not something that Kody ever endorsed, and none of us endorse. And I know that it can be really difficult to feel like all your needs are being met just because the resources are limited, Kody being, you know, number one.
Right.
And, you know, and so you can feel that way, and so I mean, I completely empathize with what Christine was kind of talking about during that time. And that's the biggest thing is like making sure, I mean, that's the biggest thing is for a husband to make sure none of his wives feel like they're less than.
Right.
You know, and I know that there was some controversy on that whole concept because I guess Christine chose to be in the basement, even though maybe she thought about it later and decided she didn't like it.
Yeah.
But you know, the house they were in, they're just kind of, it was just how it kind of was, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. So like, I don't think anybody should be in the basement. I think everybody should have, you know, like a top and a bottom.
Totally.